All right, this is Brian and my friend Garrett. We are gonna sit down. It's a Friday night here in Las Vegas. It's a nice night. Temperatures are starting to drop. It's about 58 degrees.
Yeah, finally.
Little cool. But Garrett just got back from a deer hunt in Nevada and wanted to just have him tell his experience about it. He did a lot of prep, a lot of training for the hunt, and he was training hard all summer, and he had a pretty good time, at least I think. But we're gonna hear from Garrett and see how his hunt went and what he took away from it. So why don't you tell all the viewers out there a little bit about yourself? And
so name's Garrett. I work with Brian at Go Hunt. Had awesome time working there. That place is amazing. You ever get a chance to work in a field of your hobbies, take that, because that's where it's at. Do merch ops coordinator there, so work on writing descriptions and building product on the website. So if you guys reading some descriptions and whatnot, that's probably what I did. Not all of them, so don't be too mad if they're
but a lot
not
of
right. Been there for about a year and a half, going on a year and a half now. Just awesome. So happy to be able to put hunting more back in a center point in my life.
Yeah, so that's cool. So tell me about this tag. What was it? You don't have to say the unit, but just what kind of tag was it?
Nevada mule deer tag. Mid-season is what it was considered. The area we were in actually does an early, mid, and late. So we were just basically, and we did the last week of the hunt as well. So we were right up there to the end of October. It's getting cold. Rut's starting to come on. You know, trying to find those crazy, awesome bucks. Still kind of hiding back in the canyons. Yeah. It was a good time. Getting ready all summer. It actually was really fun. I kind of like and enjoy the process of things. So working out for football back in the day, all that stuff. We did weekly hikes. I was also doing daily pack hikes or pack walks to work.
In Vegas heat, 100 degrees, whatever, and stop.
5, 6 o'clock in the morning, walking a mile and a half to work. Start out with a 10-pound pack, and then each week I would add more weight. Pretty much about 10-pound increments until I get to 45 pounds, and then I'd start over. Yeah. Give my body a little time to reset, recuperate. I would also do additional pack walks after I got home around my neighborhood or the block, probably around a mile or so again. I also focused a lot on just my overall steps for the day. So if I was getting 15 to 20,000 steps, then that was just pretty much about 10 miles of walking, regardless of flatland or whatnot. So some of it was weighted, some of it wasn't. I'm a big guy, so I don't really do a bunch of running. I did do a 2-mile run one time, more just kind of like trying to see where I was, because I suck at running. And after I was able to do that 2 miles in 24 minutes and didn't feel completely horrible, I was like, oh, this stuff's paying off.
Heck yeah.
We also did some elevation training a little bit. We hiked Craft Mountain pretty religiously for the weekends for a while, and then I switched from Craft Mountain to Level Canyon on the backside of Mount Charleston, which just gave me a little bit more elevation. We went from, I think it's 3.5 miles on Craft Mountain to 5.5 miles at Level Canyon. So just kind of up in the intensity and whatnot. I like to push my downhill whenever I can because I suck going uphill. So I just kind of like let gravity do its job, keep my feet moving. Trekking poles is a must. I don't care what anybody says. If you aren't using trekking poles, get you a pair of trekking poles, because they really are 4-wheel drive, man. Yeah. I actually got stuck on one of our hikes during the hunt without my trekking poles. Oh, no. Because my dad locked them in the truck and left before I did.
Oh, dang.
And I never really realized how much they help just like forward propulsion and keeping the majority of the weight off my legs. Like I got pumped really quick going up that hill, and luckily he had his poles and he didn't have a backpack on, so he let me take his. But I was trying to keep that kind of same regiment, daily pack walks, walking to work, and then with weekend hikes all the way up to the hunt. But as people know, life happens, things got busy, work got busy. So like last month before we actually left on the hunt, I really wasn't doing much of anything. But it didn't seem to hurt me too bad.
Sure.
If anything, I might have been able to like recoup a little bit and then went in pretty good.
It's always tough. Those early season, like you train so hard because you have the tag and you're motivated and you train, you get so dialed. For me, I'm like super ready for archery season. And then if I have another tag, I'm like, I was so dialed for archery, my legs are still good. And then like if I have a rifle hunt, like I don't do enough training between those. And then like I suffer in the rifle hunt because I'm like, man, I haven't done this for 2 or 3 weeks and I can feel it.
Well, your pack weights are a lot different.
Yeah, you have more clothes, more insulation.
You know, my dad, the rifle I was using is 13 pounds. So.
Jeez. And what caliber?
308.
308?
Yep.
Nice.
Remington Model 700.
Nice. Traditional.
Yep. Old Army scope. Leopold, of course.
So what was your camp setup there at camp?
So I kind of had a couple of ideas. We were going to do a base camp and then the possibility of a spike camp.
Yep.
When we finally actually put boots on the ground in our area and saw the canyon that we were working in, it really wasn't deep enough, in my eyes at least, to like be able to do like a half hike and then spike camp somewhere without like still having to pull that camp down every single day without having to blow out the entire canyon.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing just a base camp. We ran the Cimarron with a Winterwell stove.
Sweet.
And that was
money.
Super money.
It's nice. Did you have wood there? Like I've been up in that area before. Is there plenty of like sagebrush and stuff to burn?
There's tons of sagebrush and stuff, and they actually had a lot of mesquite too next to us. But my dad is pretty crazy and takes his own firewood because he found like some oak and pecan and like some other super hardwood, which was kind of hilarious because then it was twice as hard to get his fires going in his stove with that hardwood, but he got it done.
What did you use for fire starter?
He had these little sawdust starter blocks. I don't remember exactly what they're called, but they're about a 4-inch disc.
Yep.
And from what we saw is like you cut that thing into 4s, take one chunk, put it in there, just kind of like a pyro putty, except for it's sawdust, and light it on fire, and it gives you enough burn time to pretty much get something going.
Have you used pyro putty before?
No, but I mean, essentially it's like what you would do with petroleum jelly and cotton balls and stuff. We've made our own fire starters that way.
The best I've ever used is the Survive Outdoors Longer SOL. Is fire starter cube. I think they have a different one now, but they were so good in Wyoming a couple years ago.
Nice.
So you had a stove, kept it nice and warm. What were the temps like?
During the day, depending on the day, in the 20s or 30s.
As the high?
Yeah, as like highs.
That's pretty cold.
And that was so. We went up on a Saturday. As we are getting towards our area, about 2 hours away, it just starts dumping snow. Yeah. Like wind, snow, fog rolls in, can't see anything. We basically had that for Saturday and Sunday. Then Monday came out and was just an amazing, beautiful winter day. Snow on the ground, sun out all day long. It was great. It would have been better if I had sunglasses and didn't get snow blind all the time, but it is what it is. It actually is like sometimes I would wait for the sun to go behind a sparse cloud and then I can hike up a little bit. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, again, fog rolled in. I mean, enough to where it covered the entire mountain. Yeah. You couldn't see anything. It was like a magic trick. Yeah. Snow, crazy wind during the night. I mean, if the TP did great. The Cimarron did amazing. And it would have done amazing the entire trip if we would have had all of the guy lines actually staked out like we should have from the beginning. If you're going to have some pretty good winds, 30, 40 mile an hour gusts, like make sure your guy lines are put out. There was one time where it ripped a stake out of the ground, so then it's 20 degrees at night and you're out there with a headlamp.
Chill.
Have to leave your awesome sleeping bag. But yeah, after those last 2 days, so Wednesday was pretty crazy. Thursday, Friday, Saturday was amazing. The sun was out all day. Those, from what my Zolio was saying, those days were a high of 50 with lows in the 30s, and then depending on the wind, it was a feel like of 20 something.
Yeah.
There was one night we woke up, I believe it was Friday. Friday morning we woke up and it was like 14, 18 degrees.
Yeah.
Super, super cold. But
And what sleeping bag? What are you using?
Kodiak, Western Mountaineering, 0 degree. That thing was money.
Yeah.
Money. I mean, and honestly, the tent, even with it being a floorless and all, and we had it pitched in a way to where if we got enough gust, we still, like, the wind was still coming in. It's not like we were solid to the ground or anything. And so, like, I probably could have gotten away with a 15 degree bag.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was just amazing. There was times, like, we were kind of on an incline and I didn't care to dig anything out or anything. And then after we spent 6 days there, I probably should have dug out a flatter spot.
Yeah.
But, so, 2 times, me and the sleeping bag and my sleeping pad slide down outside the tent, and I wake up whenever I happen to wake up, look down, and there's like 1.5 feet, 2 feet of my sleeping bag outside the tent, covered in snow.
That sounds like a pretty intense incline.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It was definitely more than, like, if we would have been sleeping the wrong way, it would have been bad. You definitely would have had like blood rush into your head. But yeah, it was pretty funny. But no, it did great. Like, if you have condensation, it's a floorless tent. You got me and my dad both in there breathing. Like, I'm a very warm body sleeper in person, so I know I'm putting off moisture into the air. So, like, the wind would blow, you'd feel the drops come down because I feel it on my face.
Oh, man.
It'd be all over the sleeping bag, and I don't think that thing lost like an ounce of loft.
Nice.
Like, ridiculous. I mean,
it's a good bag. That's one I used to.
Yeah,
cold hunts.
The treatment on the outside of the bag was great, and it actually does a really good job still breathing. Like,
that microfiber. That's the difference between that and like the other Western Mountaineering bags. Is that other ones are a little bit lighter, but the breathability in the microfiber is
super money.
That's why I went with that.
Because when that stove was going full blast right there next to me, I have that thing zipped down to my waist, folded down, and then my arms out.
Yeah.
And then had to pretty much wait until the stove went out, and then until I actually started to get cold, and then zipper right back up and like super warm. Yeah. Neck baffle, hood, they both have cinches, so you can close that thing right up around your neck, and then right up around your face. Just have your nose and mouth hanging out.
Yep.
Money.
Nice.
Money.
Yeah, did you bring like a chamois to take care of the condensation?
I didn't have a chamois or any kind of like good microfiber towel, but I did just have a normal cloth towel, which wasn't horrible because with the stove there, at least I'd set it down next to me, let the stove dry it out as much as it would, get some more. But honestly, as long as the wind wasn't blowing, or if it got cold enough, the condensation really just freezes. You don't have to deal with it all that much. You might wake up and have some frost on your sleeping bag or something like that, but then we wipe that down, and
I like doing a bivvy
during the day it's dry.
Inside the teepee.
I am thinking about that.
It's extra, but then you like have no chance of getting wet and stuff.
Especially if I would have ever been away from the truck, I think the bivvy would have been a super good idea, because then you're absolutely protected.
Yeah. Sure.
Got to look into some lightweight bivvy sacks. Maybe we'll get Kevin on that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So how was the actual hunting?
Hunting was amazing. Area we've been in, really a brand new area. We've hunted that unit once before, but that area we've never stepped foot in. Cody Bohr, good buddy from Go Hunt, he kind of put me on the spot, and it was awesome. I mean, from the last time we were in that overall unit, from basically seeing no animals to seeing animals every single day, good animals every other day, pretty much. I mean, so Sunday, and then we left Friday night, Saturday, something like that. So we had about 6 or 7 days, 5 or 6 good shooter bucks.
Nice.
Probably like 10 to 15 forkies.
Wow, that's good.
Does
Sometimes
just,
you don't see bucks at all, man.
I mean, there must have been like 60, 70, maybe even 80 does.
Wow.
Like, granted, the way we kind of count animals, when especially if it's a doe, like, you count them up for the day, and then when you see them move around and whatnot, you go in the next day and you see more animals, like, that. Those are just new does. They probably are, but
or not.
they were coming up each side of our camp.
Yeah.
Like daily, we'd see more does coming in. They also come up and over the saddle, so they'll have one saddle on this basin here, and then down back in the canyon, there's another saddle that they can come over. So, like, mule deer are crazy, man. They get hunting pressure. They just, like, you can almost stay in that one area because that animal's going to do a full 360 and let you keep walking around by them and then go back to where you pushed them out of. Like, we definitely were in the canyon that they wanted to be in. They just had probably better feed, especially better feed options than the canyon next to us, because that was like straight up.
Yeah.
So ours was like, our campsite's down here, have a trailhead right there in front of it. It's about 1.5 mile hike for the first incline, and then it's like a mesa.
Sure.
Or a huge bench. And then it would go up on the left-hand side into a large basin, and then the canyon goes back another 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and then you have the last bowl up there. So that mesa area, though, was the spot. Like, get there, 0 dark 30, put your glass on the hill to the right of you, and then they just start popping. So
you get any stocks in?
We had half a stock on Monday. From the truck, we catch an awesome 3x3. He's just, I mean, beautiful 3x3.
Yeah.
Awesome front forks, super tall back third, probably as wide as his ears, at least. Like, nice. Just awesome. Chocolate horn. Big old ruddy neck, big old body. Like, not sure how old of a deer, but definitely a nice, awesome, mature deer.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, cool. We know where he is. He's just milling around in that area, just kind of eating. He was completely by himself. So then we take the hike up to the mesa. By the time we get to the mesa and then put eyes on him again, it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock or something like that. Sunset's at 4:45-ish. For the whole week that we were there. Yeah, crazy early.
Dang.
So unfortunately, me and my dad, by the time I find him again, we come to the conclusion that we're just not going to be able to make the hike to the next area. Because then you still have to be able to relocate him again. You got to cover 1.5 mile distance. It is what it is. Hunting is hunting. So it's Monday. We back out. Kind of just hunker down for the next 2 days, doing what we can to glass from camp when we can glass. Really didn't see much other than real small bucks and does on any of the real stormy days.
Sure.
And then Thursday came. I actually ended up not feeling very well. I suffer from some stomach issues and just kind of got backed up and then had a stomach ache. So my Thursday was kind of shot. Towards the end of the day, one of the guys from the other group that we happened to be with, don't know these people at all, but they were nice enough to let us set up camp and hang out with us and whatnot, and let us hang out.
Yeah.
They end up putting a forky buck down, one of the older gentlemen. So I was actually able to take the hike up to them and hiked half his deer out on
Nice.
the bear tooth. So did get it used.
Heck yeah.
At least. So that was awesome.
Good feeling.
Yeah.
It's always good. It feels good to help people too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, they always kept saying too, like they're definitely not real shooters, and they're, you know, I like that 250, 300 yard shot and this and that. So like every time we would see a forky with some does on that 450 yard radius they would keep around our camp,
Yeah.
they'd be teasing my dad, trying to get him like, yeah, you can shoot that, like put him down, we'll go over there and pack him out for you. So then when we actually got the chance,
You packed out.
we didn't have to talk about it, we just did it.
Nice.
Like, give me that bag, throw it out here.
Yeah. That's what I've been training for.
Yeah, like, especially since we were just day hunting, my gear inside the pack's not very heavy. It's not like it was the first time I'd used the load shelf. I've done all kinds of stuff. I did a 134 pound pack walk around
It's a bit much.
around our office, or the complex that our building is in.
Yeah.
And that had a full 66 pounds of a loaded pack ready to go for 8 days in the backcountry, and then 75 pounds on the load shelf. So,
Dang.
yeah,
It's a lot.
gear definitely worked.
Yeah.
Friday is when it all came together. That's when we took the Zero Dark 30 hike up. Now at this time, my dad said that he was going to stay back. He wrote up a little dope chart for me for the 308. I threw it in my little Go Hunt ammo wallet, so that was with me. And then I went up with Miguel and Wilfredo, some of the guys that we met. They were going to take the hike up early. So hike up with them. We get just about to the top, maybe 10 minutes away from the top. There's enough light coming from behind us that we're just like shut our headlamps off, finish the hike up to the, say, like the mesa, the secondary glassing point.
Yeah.
And then just put the glass on the hills. I think you ended up hitting me on the Zolio at like 6:30 or something like that with the morning motivation.
I was like, morning motivation.
Timing couldn't be any better. Like 15 minutes after, so I think 7 o'clock is when they were saying the sun was rising. So I take a couple pictures of the sunrise, and it was awesome. And then look at the mountainside, which is now to our right because the sunset's behind us. Put the 12x50s up there, and bam, just like, oh, deer. And there had to have been like 10 or 15 does just on this side of the mountain. There ended up being a 3x3 way up top, not the same from a couple days before. He definitely was a lot thinner horned. He was white horned, just a younger, smaller buck than the other one.
Yep.
We finally ended up locating the big buck in that group, which happened to be a 3x5.
Well,
He was a 3x4 frame and then had a flyer.
gotcha. Nice.
Pretty tall, not a super wide buck, but I mean, for that being my last day, I knew that we were going to be able to hunt because my dad had to be back, and Saturday was our travel day home.
Yep.
It was just like, he's like,
time.
oh, he's a 3x5 like that, like, you want to take that shot? Like, yeah, we're taking
Yeah.
that shot. So we ranged him about 389 or 382. I can't remember exactly what I got on the rangefinder, but just under 400. A nice poke. From the shooting I had done earlier before getting ready, I think it was like 330. Put 2 rounds within an inch. 600, we put another 2 rounds within an inch and a half. So like,
Good shooting gun.
very much within like the range of what I should have been able to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it done.
Yeah.
These 2 guys right here, 2 shots, 2 misses, clean misses.
Clean
So I
misses.
am thankful for that. If it has to be a miss, I don't want to injure an animal. The very first shot, it just, I mean, from the beginning, not taking my time. Like, the number one thing I know to do, like, relax, get your head on top of your shoulders, take your time. Not like he knows we were there. Like, don't worry, this dude is just eating, having a great time, being a deer, has no idea we are there. I got all the time in the world to make this first shot.
Same time in your mind, you're like, this is my last day, this is my chance, I gotta make this count.
That's exactly
this
what
whole week I've been here, everything I've been training for, this moment.
So, like, now I'm rushing. Actually, not even rushing to get the gun off the backpack because the rifle was already off the backpack. The scope cover was already off the rifle. The scope is now already set from our normal 100 yard zero to my 300 yard zero. So, like, I wonder if that kind of played into it too. Maybe I should have made myself do all that and I would have slowed down a little bit. Who knows? But I go from like trying to set up on top of the rock. Don't really kind of like that. I think I needed some more height. So then I throw the backpack up on top of the rock and just don't really feel comfortable at any of that. And I'm just like, well, why don't I lay down? I always shoot prone. I like shooting prone. So put the rifle down next to the rock, get down next to it, and then just from there, all of the steps that I normally do shooting the rifle and how I got all those good shots when we were shooting, just didn't make. I like to like put my hand up next to the rifle, make sure that the butt of the stock's really getting in that pocket, then come back. I didn't get the Stealthy Hunter glassing pad.
Yeah.
Amazing glassing pad. Couldn't tell you how it is at the rear rest because that went out the window.
Oh yeah, things go out the window
on
when
the
it's
rock next to me, so I never even thought to like, again, if I could have just thought, oh yeah, I got that thing, I got that rear rest. Let me get off the gun, grab the rear rest, put it under, Didn't happen. I get comfortable, get settled in, I'm on the buck, everything's doing good. At least my breath and everything is relaxed. Like, I am calm, but as I finally find a good hold and he's steady and he's not doing anything, go through my trigger pull, and just as the gun goes off, I don't know if it was just my elbow came back for some reason or if like I had flexed my lat and it pulled the elbow, but I pull it right. And so like he's basically a perfect broadside at this time. He was kind of coming down at me, cornering to just slightly, but then he takes a step up the hill and he's pretty much broadside.
Yeah.
So instead of putting it in the pocket, it puts it just in front of his chest. Which, if you're going to miss just in front of the chest, probably isn't too bad because they don't really know what happens at that point in time.
Sure.
He like stops, gets startled, is like, what the heck was that sound?
Yeah.
And then, so now he was working to my right. He's now turned around and he's facing uphill, coming across the mountain, not running, not bounding, just kind of like trying to figure out what's going on. He's looking around. He can't see anything. He can't see us. They haven't smelt us, so he's just thinking, I don't know, whatever. He finally stops again. We didn't get a second range, but from when I was tracking him, I didn't feel like he got any more depth on us. I felt like he was pretty neutral coming across.
Yep.
I did not wait for the spotter to get back on him, which, if you have time, get somebody on the shot so they can see what's going on.
Sure.
So now, of course, it's my follow-up shot, second shot. I'm definitely rushing it now. And that one just wasn't a good shot. I did have Wilfredo on his rifle looking through his scope. And what we think happened is I shot under him. So now the rocks blow up into his belly. He feels that, does the dive down the hill. Yeah. And then, like I said, a 360 and then right up the gut. He goes to the top. Yeah. And then he gives me one last look about 15 yards away from the top, or just one last look down to the mesa. And he's like, oh, sorry, sucker.
Next time.
Boop, boop, boop.
Bye.
Gone. But even with that 3x3, now, granted, I think there was a whole lot of like hoping because the guys I was with, or the guy Wilfredo, he thought after when he made that dive downhill that he got hit and rolled. So he said I hit him and he was rolling and this and that. So with so that stressful in my head, even seeing this buck going up, granted, I didn't take the time to look at every single deer on the mountain. Sure. So if I would have done that, I would have known, oh, that is that buck because he's the biggest one.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to take another shot. Long story short, there was a 3x3, that smaller one, broadside, the entire time.
Yeah. Didn't move.
Did not move. All the does are gone. This bigger buck has now gone up and over the ridge, probably only 50 yards away from him, and he's just up there, la-di-da-di-da.
Watching the show.
Like, so they're, like, oh, wow, he's sitting there broadside, like, we'll get a range on him. And I was like, I'm not putting another shot out there until I go make sure that deer is gone, is good to go.
Right. It's a hard decision, but
yeah,
you don't want to shoot 2 deer.
Yeah. At that point in time, I was like, I didn't do what I needed to do to begin with.
Sure.
I'm not going to make the most horrible mistake of shooting 2 deer. So
good call.
I take the hike up there after using the Go Hunt maps to get a yard. Use the rangefinder tool and put a pin out there so I could at least have an idea. Get to the clump of trees that he was above, and I was actually able to follow his trail coming from the first shot up to where he did the second shot, and then that's where I found out that he went down through the trees and then 360 back up and went up and out. So
nice.
No blood, at least for me. Actually, when I was doing the tracking, there was all kinds of deer tracks here and there and whatever, and I think there was also a cat track, and it got something. Don't know if it put anything down, but there was a drop of blood in the snow. So definitely cats up there. But just the whole experience was awesome. I mean, the last time I had a tag in my pocket, I mean, Nevada or any other state, was my antelope tag after I got my 2 mule deer tags as a kid. So I did my hunter safety course at 12. Got my first 2 tags, dropped those 2 deer, got the antelope tag, horrible shooting again, and then now it's been 20 years since I've had a tag in my pocket.
So are you going to go back and hunt again?
For sure.
For sure.
100%.
Nice.
Like, if anything, this was definitely like that, like, this is what you like to do, this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, definitely will be back. Today I was actually looking like, well, I got 0 points now. Like, how long is it going to take for me to get that tag again?
Yeah.
Might have a possibility in the next 2 years, which would be awesome. So
yeah. There's other states too. They're so expensive.
Yeah. I definitely going to be looking at Idaho if I want to do an OTC mule deer tag. Try and do my luck with the whole Brady backcountry shuffle up in Idaho, and then also try and do some OTC rifle tags in Colorado for some elk.
Yes.
Gotta come off with the Camp Daddy 2.
Gosh, that was pretty wild.
That would be awesome. But
it was pretty fun hunting with your dad too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've never not been on a hunt with my dad, so I mean, just me and him in the woods. Those are the best of times.
Yeah.
Best of times. As much as we can get on each other's nerves, it's like I wouldn't be anywhere else, and I wouldn't really have anyone else there with me. Next year, I'm really hoping the whole Colorado thing pans out. I already got a buddy of mine, been good friends since high school. He hasn't done any hunting. He really hasn't even done much camping, and hoping everything works out and that could be his first experience. He won't be behind the rifle. He's already said he will not do any of that until he can see it done firsthand. Sure. And then get that experience and then see for himself, like, yeah, this is something I want to do.
Yeah. But that's cool. Nice. Any other takeaways?
So I mean, out of like the 3 big things: gear, physical prep, and shooting, as great and awesome as we are at shooting, I just didn't put the time in. Really didn't put the time in. Everything else was awesome. As far as gear, I mean, I didn't use a piece of gear that I did not like on that hunt.
That's good.
I took the Hanwha Tatra tops and the Salewa Mountain Trainer mid 2s. I was really hoping to use the Salewas on this hunt because that was kind of like my shakedown for them. Really, I've been using them all throughout the summer, and they're awesome boot. But when we got up there and there's 1.5 feet, 2 feet of snow, I was just like, I'm not going to use a light leather boot. So I put the Hanwags on. They were amazing. I love those things. I mean, they are fairly heavy. They're 4-pound full leather boot, 8-inch tall, like, but
beefy.
They did the job. I mean, there's guys up there in some not so good footwear, having soaking feet, cold feet,
and no backup pair.
That's the one thing they did have, but they just have 2 crappy pairs of boots and have to switch them out every single day.
Dang. Makes it hard.
I mean, I haven't even treated these boots with anything, so it's just, I think it's per Wagner leather that they use on the Hanwag Tundra top, and then they are Gore-Tex, so the leather got soaking wet from trouncing around in the snow and stuff, but feet never got wet.
Nice.
And then as I was glassing with my boots out in the sun, they'd dry up instantly. Perfect. Timberline pants were awesome. They are just a really, really well built pant. The extra protection and windstopper and Gore-Tex you have on the knees and the seat really does a good job. If anything, I probably could have got away with the mountain pant just from how warm I am. They were a little warm if I was hiking around during the middle of the day when the sun was out, but at night, going up in the morning or coming back in the dark, like that was the perfect time for them.
Nice.
I was also rocking the heavyweight hoodie and the Sitka ambient hoodie, and then the Sitka windstopper down jacket.
Nice.
And those things are so awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. The heavyweight hoodie is just that grid fleece backer, poly jean, so it is a synthetic, but it's treated. I had a Smart Wool t-shirt on, and I mean, I am a super sweaty guy, and for 7 days wearing the same exact clothes, like, I did not smell, like, at all. Nice. And I was very surprised. So, like, poly jean is no joke. That stuff works.
It does work.
The ambient hoodie, like, again, I pretty much have never been in a position where I was hiking up a mountain in the cold or the warm where I didn't sweat.
Yeah.
And that was about the closest I've ever been. Like, it really I could only feel it really under the backpack strap, and the back of my back because the backpack was on it. But other than that, man, just take the hoodie off, zip it down. It airs out, and the warmth that thing packs as much warmth as like a lightweight down jacket, and
it's pretty tight.
It's super lightweight. It's 13 ounces, something like that. I wear a 2X, so it's probably closer to a pound at the end of the day. But
sure,
if it was blowing really hard, I'd throw that windstopper puffy jacket on, and golden.
That's cool.
I was using the Traverse liner glove, and then I'd use the OR mitten.
Oh yeah.
If I needed to. No. They're full on. What was it called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's the normal traditional mitten, except for they do have fingers on the inside of the mittens, but it did not like stop the performance. Like, it was cool. It is a super overbuilt mitten.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I want to say it's like the Stormfront. Yeah, or Storm Tracker, something like that.
Storm
Leather palm, synthetic insulation.
Super comfy.
Yeah, way warm.
I just moved everything, sorry.
That was great. The OR booties, solid, dude. That was like my favorite camp shoe. Like, if I was not in my boots, I was in those booties, and they were awesome.
Which booties? OR?
The OR ones, yep. The Tundra
Aerogel. Yeah.
Aerogels.
Nice.
I mean, like, walking around in snow, you just don't feel it.
Yeah.
Just don't feel it.
Awesome.
And there were nights where I would just get in my sleeping bag with the booties on. So, like, my feet were never cold. Yeah. Like, get up in the morning, come out, booties are good to go hop in the truck, start the truck, put your boots on, stuff like that. Perfect.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, sleeping bag was amazing. I'm so glad I got that bag. And like I said, I probably could have gotten away with a 15-degree bag just based off of having the stove and the tent and how warm the tent was able to keep the inside area, but I'm kind of a one bag to do it all because I don't have the money for two.
Yeah, expensive.
So cry once or buy once, cry once on that one for sure.
Yeah.
A sleeping pad, throwaway X-Therm that I had to patch a hole in. Perfect.
Yep.
6 days. Tyvek is what we were using for the ground cloth. That stuff is bomb proof.
Nice.
Pretty good. Pretty
That's
awesome. Cool. Trekking poles, I love those things when I was using them.
Which one did you have?
I have the Black Diamond carbon corks.
Nice.
Super lightweight, super rigid. I really don't understand why people or what people say when they talk about carbon poles not being strong or breaking all the time. Like, I have no idea why
your bottom's stuck in a rock.
Well, even that.
That's why
like,
you got the basket.
They
hope it.
We get stuck. It bends because carbon will bend, and then you just have to realize, oh, it's stuck. Yeah. Let me back out and pull it out. Like, I don't get it. I think they're amazing. Yeah, the backpack. I love that bear tooth. Love that bear tooth. If I could have some little changes, I think a low top with the 270 zipper would be awesome. Like if they stole that low top from the Metcalf, but kept the 270 zipper.
Because you're kind of limited on capacity. It's just like
a little bit.
That's it.
A little bit. Yeah, 5,100, just over 5,100 square inches. It was beautiful. I mean, even because, like I said, I planned on taking that big old backpack with all my food and water and stuff deeper into the canyon, but it never happened.
It's nice you can just be at the truck.
So, and like, yeah, it's 6 pounds, 11 ounces, but it still did great on the day hikes. Like,
the pack that I took into the Rubies for a mountain goat hunt was 12, like big 11 pounds, 9 ounces with nothing in it. So going out was, what was that, 69 pounds without the gun? And I packed the gun on top of that, so it's a lot for my little body.
It gets up there quick. It gets up there quick.
Dang.
You know, as far as carrying it, it's not horrible. I mean, I can carry a ton of weight on my back, but to go uphill with all that weight on my back, that's where I'm not built for conditioning. I'm just not built for endurance. I really have to work super hard for it, and even then, I'm still not that great. I mean, the guys that we ended up hunting with and spending the whole week with, at the end of the week, they're like, I don't understand what you and your dad are talking about, trying to say you're in bad shape, like you're in pretty good freaking shape. And I was like, yeah, well, come hike with some of the dudes that I work with, and
well, some of the dudes we work with are kind of crazy.
Yeah, they'll beat your butt up and down a mountain all day long.
See, for me, I hike and I'm in shape for the hunt. But when I'm hunting, I'm not rushing to get to the top. I'm gonna take my time.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I'm old-ish, and I'm gonna find animals on the way. I glass all the time, and I've been with people who like they want to prove to you how in shape they are by like leaving you in the dust. And I'm like, dude, this is not fun. I've gone predator hunting with people, and it's like going through the snow, just going, and I'm like, bro, this is for coyotes.
Yeah.
Let's just walk slowly. Let's have fun. Don't kill me. You know.
I mean, we got back to the trail. I had to put the burners on just to let those guys know how it was, because I told them, I was like, I'll go downhill with the best of them. I just can't go uphill. Like, so as long as it takes me to go uphill, I get all that time back going downhill.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I love being in the woods. I would so much rather be on the side of the mountain looking through some glass than sitting on the side of a river or lake or something fishing. I'm definitely a hunter, not a fisher.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, it makes it a lot easier when you're seeing animals and you're seeing good animals, but it was awesome. I think it was everything I needed it to be, even though I didn't come off with an animal. Yeah. And honestly, I think I deserved not to come off with an animal being away for so long. It would have been a little too sweet if I come back and just pull a great animal off the mountain. But
sometimes it happens like that.
Lessons learned, like I said, I think just as much as I was doing for preparation, you got to hit all the different things and got to get more shooting in. Maybe just different scenarios and whatnot. I mean, me and my dad both said, he was like, if I would have been, and he kind of felt bad, and I was really hoping he wouldn't feel bad, but he was like, if I would have just made that stupid hike with you in the morning, I would have been there, and I would have been able to calm you down, and this and that, so I'm so sorry. And I was like, okay, yeah, man,
it's okay. You just ruined my whole hunt.
I mean, you are the reason why I do this.
Yeah.
I started doing this. I continue to do this. When he's long gone, it will be a surefire reason why I do it, to hold on to him and his memory. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Had some unrealistic expectations. So, again, not necessarily of myself. I had unrealistic expectations of my father and what he'd be able to do.
Like hike-wise?
A couple different things, just what he would want to do and what he could physically be able to do. Sure. He has beat my butt going up a mountain my entire life. It has not mattered how old he has gotten, how good of a shape I've gotten. He has always beat my butt up and down a mountain. And this trip, I guess, was finally that trip. That was just like, he's just gone too far over the hill that his body just can't quite do it anymore, can't keep up with now what I can do.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he told me, he's like, you need to go do that thing on Friday morning with those guys, because I don't want to hinder you and this and that. And so, he's always putting me first.
Yeah, it's hard. That happens. It's when I hunt with my dad and stuff. Like, it's nice because he'll be supportive and like, go ahead and go hike up that mountain. I'll glass. I'll be watching. And we'll talk to each other on the radio and stuff. But yeah. So
if he would have brought his Garmin, then he would have been able to tell me about the stupid monster that they saw on the left-hand side while we're all stuck on the right-hand side shooting and missing at these animals. I mean, he came like straight out of his head and then just out. Like, he might have been like 30 inches wide. Dude. He was ridiculous. And he said him and Benny, the two old men in the group, both sitting at camp that day. Benny got the 2 point 2 days earlier. They sat there and glassed him for hours. It was like he was just chilling up there, just hanging out, eating.
Nice.
But yeah,
good hunt.
Take your time, relax. Like, especially when you have time. When you have the time, take your time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a race.
Yeah.
It's really not a race. I wish I could understand more why I was doing all the rushing that I was doing, but it just, they talk about buck fever and all that. It definitely wasn't that. It was just, but it maybe an out of person kind of experience. But hey,
that happens.
It fueled that fire for next year, man.
That's right. You're hungry.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing the story, man.
I ain't got no meat to bring home.
I know. Man, but thanks for sharing the story, the experience. Yeah. Hope our viewers out there enjoyed that. It's a very real story, real experience, which a lot of us face. Sometimes that's cool. You saw so many animals. A lot of times, man, you go out there and grind, and sometimes you don't see anything.
That's when it's hard.
It's so hard.
When you can't see a thing, hunting's no fun.
Yeah.
Even if I'm at least seeing does and stuff, at least it's an animal. But when you're looking at an empty mountainside day after day after day, like Brady and Trail and some of those dudes that can do that and have the mental fortitude to know, like, tomorrow something will come.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, tomorrow something else will come.
Yeah.
Lots of wins, lots of good game plans, lots of good ideas for next time.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Overall, perfect.
Thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for the time, Garrett.
No problem.
Let us know if you have any questions or comments. Let us know what you thought about the story. If you like this format, we might do some more conversations like this. So, thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Stay tuned.
Yes.